because I wasn't able to hit the force mute quick enough, and I just don't want people to start trolling and shit. I don't mind people talking, obviously, but you know, when there's hundreds of people in here, we're gonna get some trolls. So. Man, Telegram. That's one thing that annoys me about Telegram. You got to go into settings to mute people when they come in, but you can only go into settings to do that once someone's joined. And when you have, a group like ours, by the time one person's joined, 100 people have joined, and then the first 100 people that come in, they're not muted. So I can usually be real quick about it, but Telegram can act up, and sometimes it's slow. All right, let me see if he's joined. I'll answer some people's questions as well. I see people have their hands up. I'm gonna let Crypto Mischief do his thing, and then I will answer some questions from people. Yeah, I still don't even see him in the chat. Man, I'm excited about tomorrow, though. Or actually, it's today now, depending on where you live. For a lot of people, it's today. We made some small tweaks to the front end. There's a few small things that I want to add. Right now, we're essentially wiring everything up. So tomorrow or today, all we have to do is unpause, and as soon as we hit 1 p.m., we're gonna unpause, and it will be live. So we're not going to do a deployment process like we've done in the past, where we set a countdown, and when that countdown hits 0, we tell people to join the voice chat, and then we kind of prepare the launch and then start a short countdown to the actual launch. Tomorrow, all right, Brownie, you want to ask a question or say something?
Yeah, I was listening to the AMN. Thank you for taking me, first of all. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Do you ever think in the future, I know you spoke about someone earlier had some gas stations and they were trying to put kiosks in there. Do you think the scratch-off game could be large enough to actually go into actual casinos like in Vegas or Atlantic City?
I think the model for sure. I think it's possible. I think in the U.S. it might be kind of hard because of regulation, and we're actually staying away from calling it a lottery, although people are going to have their opinions on what it is. We're trying to stay more towards calling it a game in gaming. It clearly is a better model than the existing model, and it's more fair, it's more trustless, and there's demand for that. And there's the people that are on the buying side, the people that have demand for these kind of products would want it more, I feel, than the existing model. But those who are in charge, because it's essentially the state that runs the lotteries, and even the casinos, they have to have a casino's license, and it's the state that operates that. And they're gonna gatekeep heavy, but you can only gatekeep so much when there's a product that's significantly better than the current model. So, I could definitely see online casinos picking it up. That's something I could definitely see happen. And that is actually an angle that I haven't really thought much about, and I'm really happy that you brought that up, because we were mostly focusing on promoting to other DeFi platforms, but we could definitely pitch this model to various online casinos, and that's something that I think they would really be into. It gives them a little less control, but it also, everybody, you see this in the stock market. People just putting blockchain in the name of their company, and it does 10x better than it did before, just for having blockchain in their name. Everybody wants to be involved in new tech, so this kind of system would take away a little bit of the autonomy of the casino, because it's so fair and trustless. And they're especially online casinos, a lot of those games are rigged. There's a lot of funny business going on, and there's a lot. It would take away from their ability to do that. But also, it's a major promotional angle for them to say, we have fully on-chain games. So yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, and I'm actually going to write that down, because that's a whole other a whole other space that we can push this on and market to, and that'd be huge. So yeah, man, absolutely. As far as like the state, though, as far as like state-run lotteries and casinos in the U.S., I mean, when you have a product that's significantly better, you can only gatekeep it so much. But I know they're going to try hard, because the current model makes so much money for the state, and our model takes that money that's going to the state and pays it out through our revenue sharing from people that stake the NFTs. And it also would prevent them from having our tax money to use it for all these horrible things. So it would be great. Realistically, I doubt that the state-run lotteries would be happy. They would probably be trying to gatekeep it as hard as possible. But online casinos, for sure, I could definitely see that. And I'm happy that you brought that up. Man, I'm going to jump off real quick, because I'm going to call Crypto Mischief. I'm going to leave the chat open, but I'm going to hop off to call him, because...
He's in the chat, by the way.
Oh, he's in the chat now? Okay, because I didn't see him. Yeah, he hasn't responded to my DM yet, so I wasn't sure. Hey, someone needs to mute themselves, because I'm hearing an echo. Oh, you know what? Let me see. Am I still in a window with him somewhere? Alright, let me find him. I just had some audio playing in the background I had to get rid of. Oh, Find him. Okay. All right, I unmuted you. You gotta unmute yourself though, so you can talk. Mischief.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Not sure if the recording's. Yeah, having the same issue that I had before. Now I can hear myself. But is someone else recording?
Oh man, I can get someone else to record, but we've done this before, and you didn't have an issue with it. So, what setup did you use previously to make it work? I would just use
It
that
was
same
on.
setup.
It was OBS, but this is a new computer, and for some reason, it doesn't
Okay.
pick up what's coming into it. Now it's picking up your voice, but it's not picking up my voice. But before, it was picking up my voice, but not your voice.
Yeah, give me like give me 1 minute. I'm gonna get someone else to record. Maybe Bartertown will do us a favor and record it for us, or
Yeah,
I'm sure someone will. Okay, 1 minute.
Yeah, I'll do it, guys. Got it. Let me
All
put it
right.
on.
Yeah, I was just DMing you. Okay, awesome, man.
Got you.
We appreciate it.
Michelle.
All right, so let's give him a few minutes to set it up, and you know, so that idea about marketing this to casinos, I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great idea to market it to online casinos. Just to just to talk on casinos since you brought it up. Um, I was interested for a little while at starting an online casino, and then I looked at the way that they're, or especially a sports book, right? And when I started looking at their models, it just didn't seem right to me because they use algorithms which essentially uh, look at anybody that is making picks that are either before major line moves or picks that are consistently having an edge and start to limit those people's ability, the size of the bets they're allowed to place. And they take the people who are losing money and start giving them, VIP access, free rolls, all this stuff. And it's just a super toxic system where anybody that is that has the ability at all to make money gets shut down real quick, and anybody who's just has a real issue with gambling, they just put a multiplier on them basically. And I just wasn't, I was interested in it because I'm a math guy, and I also like the UFC and boxing a lot. So and also what got me into crypto in the first place was back in 2012. My buddy was running a sports book, and he got his payment processor shut down, and he was looking for an alternative. And I helped him with that, and we found out about Bitcoin, and I helped him get set up with a Bitcoin payment portal all the way back in 2012 for his sports book. So it's something that's interested me for a long time, and now that we have a big audience, we have the opportunity to really market something like that. I gave a little bit of look into it, just out of curiosity, and the model just isn't fair. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's an honest model. It's not an honest way to make money. So I decided that we're not going to do it. But anyways, the whole online casino thing kind of made me think of that. So are we recording now? I think we are, because I saw a little pop-up saying that it's being recorded.
I'm recording it. It's not live though, but I'm recording.
Okay, cool, awesome. All right, Mischief, you can get us going however you want. You there?
You gotta unmute, Mischief.
No, I don't want to just sit here with dead air. So, there you go. You got yourself. Haunted by tech issues.
He gotta get his social score up, bro.
Social credit score. Oh man. No man, he's doing good things over there. I think he runs a couple businesses because he is a corner store, and he's doing good things over there. You know, I would love to visit China. I know it's a beautiful place. All right, man. I don't know what the issue is. So, you know, if you can't talk, right, just DM me and let me know what your issue is.
Do you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, perfect, bro.
All right, it's working. Okay, so
Cool.
yeah, very sorry about all that shit. I don't know what's going on really. So the reason I wanted to chat with Forex on my channel was because, like, to be honest, like, you know, I know you're looking for testimonials for drip and all that, and we've got a big team over on my channel, and it's with the launch of the animal farm just coming up right now, right? Well, the relaunch and the unpausing, we, you know, it's all about the community. So I really wanted to put my, you know, my wick in the fire just to keep this burning, get it brighter, because we're all coming together. It's a community-run project, essentially. Drip, animal farm, you know, brief everything. So
yeah,
because of that, I thought, you know, I put out some messages. We got some tweets back about the project, about animal farm, about the unpausing and all this stuff, right? Because generally, like my channel, right, it's going back to about 2020, the DeFi summer, you know, the way back then when you first released R34P, and then we moved to the BSC, we opened Drip, we started out the animal farm. I mean, time and time again, Forex, you've just been a pillar of DeFi, something that stands strong, creating decentralized passive income machines. Yeah, and they keep standing strong. We've seen so many other DeFi projects that have burned so brightly, but then faded away, right? But Forex's projects remain stronger than ever. So it's really important that we get everything super clear for everyone of all knowledge bases for DeFi to know exactly what we're going to be doing for the migration coming up tomorrow, so that we all get the best, you know, the best entry into it, and we work together, and then we make it the farm that it is. You know, it is going to be the biggest thing in DeFi. It's going to be the biggest thing on the Binance Smart Chain easily. It's a beast.
Thank you, bro.
So,
I appreciate your questions. So, you know, getting questions and answering questions from the community is real important to me. So I appreciate the opportunity.
So what I wanted to do was make it clear for two things, which I think is really important for people. First, the migration for current stakers, which is important, right? How it's going to work. But also, if you're a complete newbie, brand new to this space, how are you going to approach the relaunch of Animal Farm and get into it? What is the easiest way to do this, right? Because there's a lot of choices now, way more choices than before, and it's more complex than before. But that's good, because DeFi should be complex. So initially, if I'm talking from myself, right? So I was in Animal Farm before. I was in the pig pen, I was in the piggy bank, and I was in the farm, right? So of course, we are not looking at the farm right now. We're waiting for the dogs unpausing for that. So at the moment, the focus is on the pigs V2, piggy bank, pig pen.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So the way that if you were already in the any of these contracts, then when we go live tomorrow at 1, there'll only be one group of people that has to do any kind of action to actually get credited and ensure that they have the pigs or pigs liquidity that they had before it was paused, before the migration. And This is people in the pig pen. So if you had pigs in your wallet, which is less than 3% of the total supply of pigs, when we go live tomorrow at 1, you'll be airdropped these tokens. So you don't need to do anything in that case. If you sent even one pig into the crediting contract, you'll be credited with the full amount that you had in your wallet. It will be sent to your wallet, and the same wallet that you used to send in the pigs to the crediting contract, and that would be the same wallet that you had the pigs in before the migration. Now, if you had pigs LPs and you did the same, it's exactly the same. They'll be airdropped to your wallet.
Okay,
If
so
you were
there's one question about that, because from the piggy after the unpausing, right? One question I did get asked was the piggy bank was still kind of running, but we could withdraw the pigs LP, then move them into the crediting contract from the piggy bank.
Yeah.
After the unpausing. So by doing that, will that be credited into the wallet, or would that be going back into the piggy bank?
That'll be going into the piggy bank. So the reason why we needed people to withdraw from the piggy bank to send to the crediting contract is because we need to migrate all of the liquidity from V1 pigs to V2 pigs. And the only way we can do that is by having people send in their LP tokens or sending their pig tokens to allow us to do that. We're a fully decentralized project, which means we don't have the ability to remove the liquidity, which is important because you see all these other projects taking advantage of that to scam their user base. We ensure when we build a project, we don't even have the ability to scam if we wanted to, right? So that's important to us. So if we did have the ability to move the liquidity, then we could have said, just keep it paused, and that's fine. You guys don't have to do anything. But because we needed a full community effort to this migration, we had people withdraw and send it in so we could migrate the liquidity. But when V2 goes live tomorrow, when we unpause it, you'll be credited in whatever contract your capital was in when we paused it. So if you were in the piggy bank, you'll be credited by the amount of LPs that you deposited minus the amount of LPs you withdrew. Now, when I say the amount of LPs you withdrew, I'm not referring to LPs that you withdrew after the pause to send to the credit contract. I mean, when it was unpaused, any LP that you deposited minus any LP that you withdrew, because this essentially gives your LP balance in the contract. The sum of that would be your LP balance in the contract, and that's what you'll be credited with in V2. And the way that we're determining how much everybody will be credited is by taking the sum of this LP and then doing simulated buys into the piggy bank in the same order that the buys were made initially, and this credits those users as those simulated buys come in with the pigs price, with the piglets, using a type of bonding curve. So, of course, the initial deposits will get a slightly better rate than the last deposits that were made, but because we're starting with a high seed value, and because the only people that will not be credited in the new system are the two botters who made a large deposit and then attempted to drain the system. That capital, they're getting credited zero essentially because they were able to withdraw a little bit more LP than they deposited, so that makes their sum zero. So they're not credited, which means everybody else in the system is then it's essentially a value transfer to everybody else in the system. So it's essentially or functionally like a bonding curve pre-sale, where everybody that was existing in Piggy Bank, it's functionally the same as if you got into a pre-sale with a bonding curve. And when we go live at 1 o'clock, right, it's today now, 1 o'clock p.m., you'll be credited with piglets, and everybody will have a truffle value of 0. So the piglets determine your stake in the contract and the amount of ROI that you're able to earn, and the truffles are the ROI that you're earning. They're the token that you can actually use to cash out. So everybody will be starting with how much piglets they're credited with and 0 truffles. And what this means is anybody who wants to get in on immediately when it goes live, wants to deposit new capital, they don't have to worry about anyone that has accumulated truffles that they could dump on their head or sell on them, or there's no one that got a major head start on them. So it really is like a type of it's essentially like a complete relaunch where the people who were already staked got in a type of vested bonding curve, and the vesting comes from the simple fact that you can only withdraw up to 3% ROI a day, and the people who are getting in tomorrow, or people that already have their stake but want to deposit fresh capital, not only are you getting in at the ground floor, meaning that there's no one that has truffles that could dump on your head, also you're getting a 20% bonus for depositing fresh capital, and this is in the first 48 hours. And this is one way we're helping to just kickstart it and make it really attractive for new capital to come in right at launch.
So it'd be like, say you take like a guy, right, Jimmy, right? So Jimmy had, before the pause, he had $100 worth of pigs in his wallet, right? And he was also in the piggy bank. But then after the piggy bank was, after the farm was paused, he withdrew like $100 worth of pigs BUSD LP tokens, right? And he put them into the crediting contract. So his $100 of pigs, but that was in his wallet, will just be airdropped back to his wallet. But the pigs LP tokens that he took out of the piggy bank to deposit into the crediting contract would go back into the piggy bank. That's right, yeah. That's the.
All right. Well, so I don't want to complicate this, but if he had, so if someone had pigs or pig LP tokens in their wallet when it was paused, then they will get airdropped those tokens to their wallet. If they had the LP in the piggy bank, they will get credited in the piggy bank. Now, in order to get credited in your wallet or in the piggy bank, when we unpaused it just to do the crediting, you had to have set something in to the crediting contract to get credited in the new contract, whether it's the tokens airdropped or credited in piggy bank. Now, we understand that some people were time locked in piggy bank, and some people were only able to withdraw a small amount because you can only withdraw up to 3% ROI a day. So essentially with piggy bank, everybody's getting credited, whether they sent in pigs or pigs LP, it doesn't matter. But as far as the people that had the pigs in their wallet or pigs LP in their wallet or pigs in the piggy bank, you did have to withdraw to send something in because everybody had the ability to do that, and we needed people to do that in order to do the migration. So our way to ensure that people would do that so we could do the migration was by telling people that you need to send into the credit contract to get credited. So if you mentioned that, your example, if someone deposited, say, 100 LP tokens into the piggy bank, and then before it was paused, withdrew 100 LP from the piggy bank, then they will essentially have a balance of 0 when we unpause the piggy bank. But if they had those LPs in their wallet when it was paused because they withdrew, they will get credited to their wallet. But the only people that withdrew a significant amount from the piggy bank were the two snipers, right? And because we had a max payout, because it was only up to 3% a day, and because we had a security protocol that paused the contract when it was made evident that there was a sniper there, they were not able to, no investor capital was lost. They were essentially just able to withdraw just about what they deposited. So it actually worked out pretty well because it gave us a really simple way to figure out how to credit people while not including the bots, but do it in a non-arbitrary way by just saying you'll get credited with what you deposited minus what you withdrew from the system, and that automatically takes care of the bots. Plus, it's not an arbitrary, we're picking and choosing. Although we could have done that anyways because we made it very clear if you try to get around our anti-bot protocols, you will be blacklisted anyways. So, but regardless, I'm happy that we chose a non-arbitrary way to do it.
So then that comes to actually newbies then, because a new person finding the piggy bank right now and thinking, oh, this looks exciting, it's time for me to get in for the first time. So you're saying that any new capital going into the piggy bank gets 20% extra. That's nuts. So that's 20% extra on the compound interest that you can garner from compounding the piggy bank. Like
exactly, it's 20% on their it's 20% on their principal, and then if they time lock, then that bonus for time locking is applied to their principal. So it's an additional bonus put on their already increased principal from the bonus, and then so just as an example, if someone was going to deposit enough to get 100 piglets without the bonus, they will now get 120 piglets, right, for that same amount of capital, and then the time locking. Say I'm going to use some arbitrary values here, but say they time lock for 6 months and get 50% more piglets for depositing for 6 months. This extra 50% now gets put in their bonus balance essentially, and gets added to their available truffles every day. So when they compound, they're taking a percentage of that bonus that they earned and compounding it into their principal, and now they're earning compound interest on their bonus for the time locking bonus plus the 20% bonus plus their deposit. So it's 20% makes a huge difference when you're talking about compound interest. Being able to start out with 20% more principal initially that makes a huge difference when you account for compound interest.
Yeah, so it's a very enticing offer for anyone who's just finding this. And then so if that kind of moves to the pig pen, because they're linked closer now than they were before. That's right, because the deposits into the piggy bank, some of that deposit fee will now go to the pig pen. Is that correct?
All of the pigs generated from deposit fees go to the pig pen. So
all of it. Okay.
All of it, yes. So I never take any kind of developer fee in our native assets. I've never done that. I've never done that for any of our projects, and there's several reasons for that. There's the fact that in order for me to actually take that capital and try to use it for, say, marketing or whatever I'm going to use it for, I would either need to sell it, or I would need to give those tokens to whoever's going to be doing the marketing or whatever, and then they're going to end up dumping it on their following side when they promote it, or how are we going to use it. So I never take a dev fee in our tokens because I never sell our tokens, and I never use our tokens to pay anybody for anything, because I know almost every time that has a net negative effect. They end up promoting it and then dumping on the heads of the people they just promoted to. So the Pigpen are the people that were in the Pigpen when it paused are the only people who are going to need to take some action tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST when we go live. And that is they're going to need to decide whether they want to credit their pigs to the Pigpen, or if they want to send BUSD to the contract and credit to the piggy bank. So if they do decide to credit to the piggy bank, it's going to be considered fresh capital coming in, and they're going to get a 20% bonus. Now, if they decide to credit to the pig pen, then they'll be entered into the pig pen. Their pigs will be staked in the pig pen, and now they will start earning 3% of the pig pen vault, which has millions of dollars in it, and 3% of this balance gets paid out to pig pen holders, plus a huge cash flow, which will likely, at least in the first couple weeks until we have the V2 Animal Farm contracts coming up, be providing a larger cash flow than even the BUSD. And this is going to be the pigs that are generated from the deposit fees on the piggy bank being used as a dividend model for the pig pen. And someone asked before about the deposit and withdrawal fees on the piggy bank, and I think it's important for people to understand that if everybody in the system is paying the exact same tax, then it's the same as no one in the system paying a tax, right? And the reason why we put this deposit withdrawal fee in the first place is because we needed to ensure that it was not profitable to self-refer. A lot of these other systems that have referral structures can be drained or it can be used to leech the system by self-referring. So we prevented that by putting a fee that is slightly higher than the referral bonus you would get, and this ensures that if you are doing a normal referral, then you benefit from that. But if you try to self-refer, you end up paying more in a fee than you would from the referral bonus. So this is oftentimes actually the only projects that I've put a fee like this into has been for this very reason, to offset any kind of leeching or disincentivize leeching through self-referring, and that's what we've implemented into Piggy Bank. Now the Pigpen,
so one thing about that then. So then,
yep.
I'm trying to think about how to play this right, because I mean, not financial advice, of course, but so if the Pigpen is going to be getting injected with BUSD from the new deposits into the piggy bank, starting from the launch of the farm again, would that mean that people who are staking their pigs back into the Pigpen are going to be getting like this huge push of BUSD coming in the first couple week, because they'll, generally with these contracts such as the piggy bank, the first week, the first 2 weeks is like a huge injection of fresh TVL, yeah?
Yeah.
So that mean it's going to be for like gameplay? It's going to be a huge injection coming in.
We got something like $700 million worth of TVL in the first day on Animal Farm. Yeah. We've made significant improvements to the Animal Farm, and I see us outperforming that to a large extent. And 6% of all that TVL that's coming into single assets and 4% that's coming into LPs is taken as a deposit fee. And then the way that this is allocated, the way this deposit fee is allocated is 75% of it gets swapped for BUSD and sent to the Pigpen as BUSD rewards. Another 25% gets sent to our liquidity helper contract, and this liquidity helper contract swaps the token for BUSD. And when I say the token, I'm referring to whatever token the fee is taken in. It could be the Chainlink pool or the BNB USDT pool, whatever the case is. It will swap those for BUSD, sent to the liquidity helper contract. The liquidity helper contract then starts accumulating BUSD, and it's also accumulating dog tokens. And this is because there's a 3% tax on the dog token, which gets swapped for BUSD, and this gets sent as another BUSD cash flow to the Pigpen. There's a 3% tax that gets sent to the liquidity helper contract, and only on sells there's a 3% tax that burns the token, so removes it from circulation. This 3% tax that goes to the liquidity helper contract then gets paired with the BUSD that is being sent there from 25% of the deposit fees. It gets used to add liquidity to the dog token. Now, we made a major improvement to that, whereas previously, the way that our liquidity helper contract worked was once a certain threshold of BUSD in liquidity helper contract was hit, it would then see what the ratio was of dogs to BUSD on the contract and either use some of the BUSD to buy dogs, so there was an equal value of dogs and BUSD on the contract, and then pair them, Or if there was more dogs value than BUSD value, then it would sell some of the dogs to make an equal amount of BUSD of the contract and then pair them. Now, because there's a 3% tax that's going to this contract on every single dog transaction, it means that there's always going to be a lot more dogs being sent there than BUSD. And previously, that meant that every time this threshold was hit, it would be selling dogs to add liquidity. And I never like to implement a mechanic that has built-in sell pressure. Now, even this previous model that we used, which was selling some dogs to add liquidity, was way better than the current model. The current model for these auto liquidity tokens is literally what it does is it takes a 3 or 5 or 10% tax on the token. It sells half that token right away and then uses it to have liquidity. So every single swap, every single transaction is creating a large amount of sell pressure. I did away with that completely and instead utilized BUSD from the deposit fees to allow there to be that BUSD to pair with the dogs. But still, there needed to be an equal value of dogs to BUSD on the contract, so that did result in dogs being sold at some points to do it. So in this case, the improvement that we made is now still 25% of BUSD generated from deposit fees are being sent to the liquidity helper contract, and still there's a 3% tax on dogs that's being sent to the liquidity helper contract. But when this BUSD threshold is hit on the contract, if there is more BUSD value than dogs on the contract, it will take some of that BUSD to buy dogs, so there's an equal value on the contract, and then add liquidity. If there's more dogs on the contract, instead of selling some of the dogs to create more BUSD on the contract and add liquidity, it just burns the additional dogs, so now there's an equal value of dogs and BUSD on the contract and adds it. So now the liquidity helper contract can only add buy pressure, and it's going to be a massive burn mechanic on the token. So it's a huge new mechanic that we added that's going to add a ton more buy pressure to the token and add a lot more liquidity to the token. So since you asked, I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about the dogs contract and the farms and pools, just because
I'm talking about them in 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to overload people with information. Basically, that's kind of the idea. But and this
the way I understand the dogs, just to cut it brief, would be when the dogs token is on pause, essentially no dogs is ever going to be sold on the back end, which will be detrimental to the price of it. Essentially, it's going to be burning more. It's going to help the price. People aren't going to notice it until they see the price and they'll be like, "Wow, okay, something's going on in the back end, which is even more bullish than before."
Yeah. So basically, every time this BUSD threshold, which is a significant amount of BUSD, say 25,000, 50,000 BUSD, get onto the liquidity helper contract, it will then either use that BUSD to buy dogs, or it will burn some of the dogs and then add liquidity to it. So that's I would say light years better than what we had, and what we had previously was significantly better than anything else in the space. So
it was.
Yeah. So what we're going to do with the dogs migration, just to speak on it a little bit, is the main use case for dogs and the main value for dogs comes from pigs, because dogs acts as the farm reward token that is a vehicle that allows you to earn pigs. So essentially, dogs gets its value from pigs, and we wanted to ensure that dogs has as much demand and is as bullish as possible when we unpause it, and we're doing that by allowing pigs to go first, give pigs a couple weeks to really moon, really shine, and that way when dogs goes live, there's that instant value for the dog token because you can utilize it to earn pigs. So that's the idea. And also, we didn't want to hit everybody with everything at the same time, just because when you do that, details get lost in the sauce and it becomes more difficult for people and more confusing. So what we're going to do is tomorrow we go live with Piggy Bank, Pigpen, and Pigs. We'll then spend the next day and the weekend just focusing on that 100%. And then at the start of next week, we're going to give instructions on how people can migrate their dog tokens from the V1 MasterChef contract to the V2 MasterChef contract, which can utilize PancakeSwap's V2 syrup pool, which is used in our rehypothecation protocol to earn millions of dollars worth of BUSD every month, which is then injected into the Pigpen. So actually, I'm super excited about something. So let me just talk about one more thing involving dogs, and then we'll kind of move on. So because it actually, you know what? It's important to talk about it because it doesn't just have to do with dogs. It's something that is going to generate a ton more BUSD for the Pigpen. So this is something that people that are considering whether they want to get into the Pigpen or Piggy Bank need to consider. So previously, we were taking all of the LP tokens on our MasterChef contracts and lending them out as collateral to a PancakeSwap lending pool, and we were earning about 30 to 40% APY off that. And when you're earning 30 to 40% APY off hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, that's a significant amount of capital that you're earning, and we're using that to inject that capital into the Pigpen as BUSD rewards. Now, the reason why we were only doing it with LP tokens is because there was no major DEX that allowed you to lend single assets and earn a significant yield off of it. Now, I'm so happy to say that 2 days ago, we made a deal, we locked in a deal with a major DEX to lend out our single asset tokens as well. So all that's hundreds of millions of dollars worth of additional capital that will be earning 30 to 40% APY, and this is going to effectively double the amount of BUSD that will be being sent to the Pigpen, and it's going to be a big deal. And also, the DEX that we're working with, they have a product that they're about to launch in a few weeks. So there's going to be that they're only going to be offering to what they're calling the top 5 projects on BSC, and we're one of them with Drip. So between doing the lending with them for Animal Farm and the collab that we're doing for their new product with Drip, there's going to be a ton of co-promotion going on with this DEX as well. So,
that's the same one.
The same one, yeah, exactly. It's big. It's going to be really, really big for all our projects. We're trying
to guess what it is, but I don't know.
Since it's their new project, new product that they're launching, I don't want to be the one to say it first. So it's going to be going live. Yeah, I won't.
Secret,
but
it'll be fun.
It's going to be going live in 2 or 3 weeks. It's already built, and right now they're preparing to start promoting it and making it public. So it'll be made public in the next few days, at some point next week, and that's when I'll be able to talk more about it.
I think I'm going to do a sweepstake in my channel of what it's going to be, and we're going to have some options and see who votes for what, and then the winner's going to get some drip.
Do it, man. Do it. I mean, that kind of stuff is always great. Like anything that creates excitement is awesome, man.
That's cool. So if we get into the Pigpen, right? Because definitely I see this as such a much more advanced and it's more complex than the new Pigpen model, but it is so much more bullish for pigs than the old model. And the old model was working well, right? It did work. It wasn't a broken system. But the new model is so much. It's the idea is paying you back 2%, daily from what you put in, but it's locked, right?
So the way that. So the way that
50 days to withdraw, but then if you want, you can also compound it back in. That's the same.
Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah. So the way that it's working is that when you wait a minute. I'm just hearing background noise. Whatever. So when someone deposits into the Pigpen, right, their principal is then locked in there and is made available at 2% a day. So this is not including the pigs or the BUSD that's being sent to the contract. So what this means is their principal is locked, and they're able to unlock 2% a day, and they can take the pigs that they're earning from the dividends, from the piggy bank cash flow, and deposit that and compound that into their stake. So of your principal, right? Your 2% principal that's being unlocked, you wouldn't compound that into your stake because it's already in your stake. It's already your principal. You don't compound your principal back into your principal. It's the pigs dividends that you're earning from the new pigs cash flow that you would be compounding into your principal. And so when you do this,
2%, so you can compound that 2% back in.
No, sorry. So the 2% is the percentage of your principal that's made available for you to withdraw daily, right? This is this is not this is not the dividends that you're being sent. So
dividends is BUSD.
The dividends is both BUSD and pigs. So you're earning BUSD from the Pigpen vault that's paying you 3% of its balance every day, and then you're earning pigs from the piggy bank cash flow. All the deposit withdrawal fees that are accumulating pigs are being sent to the pig pen. Now, as a pig pen staker, say you stake 100 pigs in the pig pen. Every day, 2% of those 100 pig tokens will be made available for you to withdraw if you want to withdraw. Now, on top of this 100, you're getting pigs sent to you as a dividend, to your to your account, to your dashboard. And these pigs, you can decide to either claim them or you can compound them back into your principal. When you compound them back into your principal, it's the same as any kind of staking model like Drip or anyone. It resets your vesting, but now your principal's larger, and now you're earning a greater share of the pigs and BUSD being sent in. So that's the way it works. The 2% is a vesting model on your principal. So it's 2% of your principal is made available to withdraw every day. This is not including the pigs that's being sent to you in the form of rewards as a staker in the pig pen. Those pigs that are being sent to you in the form of rewards are available to claim, or you can compound them into your stake. And when you compound it into your stake, it now, of course, increases your balance and it resets your vesting period. So this is going to be something that, it's going to be a type of arms race where people are going to be trying to grow their principal in pigs as much as possible to get a greater share of the pig pen. And by doing this, they'll be resetting their vesting period, further locking them into the protocol. And at any point, it's never locked for more than 50 days because it's 2% a day, which means 100% at the end of 50 days. But when you compound or you make a new deposit, it resets your vesting period. So it's really a model that's, people are going to make massive gains from it. But the people that are going to make massive gains are the people that are in it for the long term. And that's because you're going to be making massive gains instantly, right? As soon as Pigpen goes live, as soon as Piggy Bank goes live, there's going to be a ton of pigs being sent there. But in order to essentially keep up with maintaining your share of the pig pen, you're going to want to compound them. And when you compound them, you're resetting your vesting out another 50 days. And it just really, it's so bullish for pigs because there's only going to be about 3% of pigs in circulation. Over 86% of pigs LPs are locked up in the piggy bank. So essentially, there's going to be no pigs in circulation when it goes live. When you consider there's only 3% of pigs in circulation, and there's a 3% burn rate on selling pigs, it cancels each other out, and it essentially makes it so there's basically no negative. There's no immediate negative price impact that can happen on the pigs token when we go live. and then there's all this incentive to buy the PIGS token. So, the PIG token, it's going to move like we've never seen it move before. Because we've never had a situation like this.
I've never seen a setup like this that you've done with Pigpen. It's beauty in DeFi, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's never
perfectly balancing. It's never seen this before. Yeah,
there's never been anything like this because we're taking funds that otherwise would be going to the developer, and we're using them as a reward model for the people who are staking in the governance protocol, essentially making the stakers of the PIG token in the Pigpen the owners of the protocol, meaning they're getting the dev fees and they have a vote on future development on the farm, such as vault partnerships and all this kind of stuff. So the reason why you haven't seen this before is because there's very few development teams that are willing to take cash on the table that otherwise would be going to them and make the conscious decision of, we're going to give this to the community instead. It just doesn't happen.
It's something about you that not enough people seem to understand about the way that you see DeFi and the way that you see the different protocols that you make. It's not the common way that we see all over the place with DeFi, where the developers there taking his 1%, his 10% cut of all the money going in and all the money going out. It's not the way you do things. And I don't know. That's why, I'll follow this one, I'll follow the next one, because I know that it's DeFi done exactly the right way it should be. And there should be more people doing this, but sadly they don't. They don't take DeFi in a way.
It's very hard to get skilled developers. Like, there's a lot of people that can do some basic stuff. Very hard to find skilled developers, and then finding a skilled developer who also has the this kind of mindset. There's not many of them. But I came into the space already a multimillionaire. I don't really want to talk about my actual funds, but before I developed anything, I was already a multimillionaire, making millions of dollars a year trading. And I came into it.
Yeah,
I came into it to build cool stuff.
When you brought out R34P, I think you locked the liquidity yourself. Yeah, like it was.
Yeah, exactly. When I launched Reap, I just put my own money in there and locked it to get it kickstarted. Yeah, exactly. So it's and when I launched Reap, it was because I kind of got a little bit of a bug where I saw a really cool project that had a cool idea, and I just don't feel like it was done to the extent that it could have been done, and I wanted to do it myself, and it was kind of a spur of the moment decision. I didn't tell anybody I was going to do it. I started working on it. I launched it. I added my own liquidity to it, my own capital to it. I locked it up, and then I let everybody know. So, it was already listed before anybody even knew about it. And actually, the first group that I even told about was Stunna. I went into Stunna Breezy's group, and I was like, hey, guys, I just launched this token. And they knew me because I was already, I was running some trading bots. And one of the trading bots I was running, which, maybe I shouldn't talk about, but I'm going to do anyways because it's a funny story, is I had some chain analysis bots which were watching every single one of BitBoy's wallets. And we would watch for when tokens would be sent to one of BitBoy's wallets, and we would know, okay, he just got paid to promote this token, is going to be pumping in the next 24, 48 hours. I would buy it. I would then go to Stunna Breezy's group and say, hey, guys, BitBoy's about to make a video on this token in the next 24, 48 hours. You guys might want to buy it. And then every time, within 24, 48 hours, BitBoy would make a video. Project would do 2x, 5x, because this is a couple of years ago. So this was back when he would make a video about a project, and it would do 5, 10x just based on his video, instantly. So I already had that reputation, and I was also running a bot that was front-running liquidity pools and front-running large sell orders, and just essentially buying everything that listed. So I got into RFI. I was one of the first 5-10 people to buy RFI. One of the first people to buy Aave. A ton of big projects. I was one of the first people, if not the first person to buy, because I had a bot that was just buying everything that listed if it had over a certain threshold of liquidity. So I think it was if it had over $50,000 worth of liquidity, just automatically buy it and then hold it until someone does a sell order, which will dump the price more than 30%, or if they were to remove or if they tried to remove the liquidity, at least more. If they tried to remove 30% or more of the liquidity pool, front run their order to do that and sell. And this got me into a ton of great projects because I was running this in like 2020, early 2021. So that's when a lot of the major projects that are seen as like the top projects in DeFi right now were actually just launching for the first time, and I was able to buy a lot of them, often as the first person that bought them, or at least in the top 10, and hold them and continue to hold them until either some major dump happened or liquidity was pulled. So I had a bit of a reputation just for this kind of stuff beforehand. So when I told people that, hey, I just launched a token, it was kind of like an instant hit. Like we did 100x in the first couple weeks or whatever. But I guess my point saying this, it was just an interesting story, so I kind of wanted to tell it. But my point was that before I built anything in DeFi, I had money. I can make a ton of money in DeFi, whether I'm developing tokens or platforms or not. So my motivation was just building cool stuff, building stuff that I could be proud of, that I knew had demand, that we could grow a community around and have fun with. And that was my real motivation more than anything. And this is why I didn't put any kind of dev fee. I didn't even raise capital for ETH. I threw my own money in there and locked it. It's because I was just, I wanted to build cool stuff. And that's still my motivation. All right, so it looks like... all right, you gotta unmute yourself. I think you might have crashed your Telegram or something. You there, Mischief? All right, so I'm not sure, what happened to him, but I'm gonna keep talking because I don't want there to be dead air. And then when he figures out whatever he needs to figure out, he can just let me know. So the Pigpen has all of these new these new cash flows coming into it, and that makes it way more attractive than it was before. And it's going to make at least double what it was paying out previously, just in the simple fact that we're going to be lending out our single assets. Now, when you also include the pigs that are being sent to it, I believe the amount of capital that will be generated in rewards from this will likely be greater than even the BUSD that will be paid out, at least until we launch the V2 mastership contracts. So it's a great time to get into the Pigpen and to be able to earn pigs and accumulate your position in the Pigpen. So when the V2 contracts go live, you have a big position in there, and you can really take advantage when that wave of TVL comes in on the V2 contracts and really get paid out. Now, while I wait for him to come back, I also want to talk about another major. Awesome, man, awesome. So let me just wrap up what I was about to say. So we a lot of projects, the way that they do burning of their tokens is they send it to a 0x000 wallet, right? Because this does effectively remove it from circulation, but it still doesn't remove it from the total supply. And when you look at different analytics sites, such as Dex Tools, CoinMarketCap, etc., it looks like those tokens are sitting in people's wallets, which is not bullish, right? Especially if you have a protocol that's sending a large percent of all the tokens to a 00x or 0x00 wallet, then it looks like a ton of tokens are just sitting in circulation and sitting in a wallet. And it artificially increases the market cap, because market cap looks at the amount of tokens in circulation, or in the total supply, actually, and then multiplies it by the price. So if the tokens are sitting in a burn wallet, and you're taking the price times the total supply, it's going to be way overinflated, and this is why you see, for example, a project like Hex or something have like whatever they have, $1 trillion market cap or whatever. It's because those analytics are way off. They're counting tokens that are actually not in circulation as if they were in circulation, and it's because they're using a kind of outdated burn mechanism, where in our protocol, when our tokens are burned, meaning when this 3% burn rate is put on pigs when they're sold, or the dog token when it's being sent to liquidity helper contract and being sold from there, or sorry, not sold, being burned from there, or it's being burnt when people sell the dog token, that 3%, is not being sent to a 0x00 wallet where it can still affect the analytics of the project as if it was in circulation. It's actually being removed from the total supply. So everybody will be able to see the total supply of our tokens reducing every day, minute after minute. Every time someone transacts our tokens, they'll be able to see the total supply of the token shrinking, which also gives us way more accurate data on our analytics sites, and in the most bullish way. Because when a lot of people, when they decide, do I want to invest in this, they're looking at things like how much volume was done, what's the market cap? Is the market cap way too high? Do I want to invest with the market cap so high? Things like this, where when you use the innovative new burn mechanism that we introduced into our dog and pig tokens, they're actually removed from the total supply, which makes the market cap reflect accurately. So it's not an inflated market cap, and this makes it way more attractive to people that are using this data to determine whether they want to invest, whether it's too late, etc. And also, these tokens that are being burnt are not being counted towards volume either. So it's not artificially inflating our values in a way that would make most people that are just looking at the analytics think that the project is too big or it's too late. So there's many improvements that we've made, because the main reason why we did this migration was because we were using the PancakeSwap V1 syrup pools to do the collateral rehypothecation, to earn millions of dollars worth of yield every month on all of our LP tokens. They updated to V2 syrup pools, and we knew they were doing that, but they didn't say that they were going to stop emissions on V1, and then they just kind of out of the blue one day announced, we've ended emissions to V1. This made us have to, kind of call an audible and decide, what are we going to do? Are we going to unpause now and then have to put the brakes on in, a week or two to do the migration? Or should we push back launch 2 weeks and go full steam ahead when we do go live with the V2 integration, plus that gave us the ability to do a whole bunch of other improvements. And if you read the new white paper, you'll see we listed something like 5 or 6 major improvements that we made, and there's also at least a dozen other that we didn't list there. And the reason why we didn't list there is because it's things that people it would go over most people's heads, such as making the contract more efficient so it uses less gas. These kinds of things, which make a big difference, but are not as easy for people to understand, people that don't understand the code as technically. So we've made some huge improvements to both dogs and pig tokens and all of the related contracts.
So if we one point I wanted to touch on was the migration of referrals from the old animal farm site to the new one. That's going to be just 1-for-1, like the swap over to it.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought that up. So let me just start with Piggy Bank, since that's on my mind when you say that.
Yeah.
So Piggy Bank has a variable referral bonus, and this variable referral bonus is based on the amount of dogs you have staked in the single asset dog pool, and this creates more demand for dogs and more incentive to lock up dogs. Now, because the dogs contracts will not be live when Piggy Bank and Pigpen goes live, what we're doing is setting a flat 2% referral bonus rate for everybody until the V2 dogs contracts go live. And when these V2 dogs contracts go live, then it'll become variable for all new capital that comes in. Now, as far as the referral bonuses that people earned previously before pause, those will all be credited in when we go live in the new contract. So essentially, the state of everything was captured, and this includes any gifts that you got. So because with Piggy Bank, you're allowed to give stakes. Any time locks that you had will be time locked for the same period of time.
Yeah.
And any referral bonuses that you got will be credited to you. Now, the only thing that will change with this is the rate. So when we decided the starting price and the starting what we call the seed value, which is basically the starting liquidity pool size that determines the price impact, it was too small on V1, and it caused a huge price impact in the first few minutes after launch. And people who got in early got significantly more than people that got in just an hour or two later. With V2, we choose a much larger starting seed value, and the reason why we have a starting seed value is because the way that these other contracts work, these other contracts that have two native assets on the contract. So there's nothing like Piggy Bank, but there are other contracts that have two assets on the same contract that are internal to the same contract. And the way that they've worked previously on all of the projects that came before our models of it, were the person who sends whatever the capital is, BNB or BUSD or whatever their whatever is being used as the contract balance on the contract. Whoever sends that initially sets the price, but also gets 50% of the supply. No matter what they send in, they could send in one BNB and they get 50% of the supply starting. And this is the developer that does this. And this creates a major centralization issue, especially since the 50% of the supply that they're getting is in the asset that determines the ROI that they're earning, which means that when you start off with a project that you can earn compound interest in, and you're starting off with 50% of the supply, regardless of the amount of money you put in, that determines the rewards that you're earning, it only takes less than a week before that account owns 90+% of the supply. And this is why so many of these other projects that had multiple native assets on the same contract were used by people that were scammers or just wanted to cash grab, because this mechanism gave them a ton of centralized control. So we made an innovation that is not done on any other project like this, where instead of us sending capital to the contract to set the initial price and getting 50% of the supply, we created a mechanism that essentially tricks the contract into thinking we sent capital to it, which then sets the price but doesn't give us 50% of the supply. It gives us none of the supply. And then whoever is the first person to deposit now is depositing at this set price. And then the price impact that they make is based on the starting seed amount that we chose. Basically what we tricked the contract into thinking the starting liquidity pool had in it. And with V2, we've chosen a significantly higher seed value, which means that the price impact that people have when they deposit is significantly less. It's equivalent to making a purchase on a token that has a liquidity pool with $10 million in it, right? So the reason why that's important for a contract like this is because what should determine your ability to earn should not be, whether you bought in 1 minute before someone else. It should be your actions in the protocol. Now, of course, there still is a benefit to getting in early, and this is because you're in the system earlier and then can earn compound interest, and you're able to grow at a faster rate and get a head start on anybody that comes in after you. But there's no major price impact that makes it unfair for people that get in after you. And because we've set this higher rate, it's going to it will slightly change the amount of piglets and truffles that you will earn, but due to the fact that the two bonders who got in V1 initially are not being credited, and it's a value transfer, everybody in the system will have more piglets and more truffles. So you're going to see even your referral bonuses are going to be more piglets, right? So when I say more piglets and more truffles, what I mean by that is you will start off with more piglets than you had previously, and you'll be able to earn more truffles. No one's starting out with the truffle balance, and this is important because we want to ensure that no one has the ability to dump on anybody as soon as we go live. Everybody's starting at the ground floor here. So I gotta unmute him again. I gotta find him first. Guys, just know I'm gonna be on here an hour before we go live tomorrow, around noon EST, and I'm gonna just fully focused on just exactly what everybody needs to do, and exactly how everything's gonna go. But right now, due to some technical issues that are going on and stuff on his end, I'm kind of filling some of the time with things that I think are interesting. So,
all right. Thanks.
No problem.
Yep.
What's going on? Is your Telegram crashing?
It's because I live in China, man. Everything's going to go through VPN because YouTube's blocked, Telegram's blocked, Google's blocked. So everything goes through a certain source. So to get through it, then unlock it, then get through. So
yeah, and Telegram can be tough with a VPN too. I know that.
Yeah, it's annoying, man. Can't wait to get out of this country.
Well, I think it's from what I understand, it's provided a pretty good life for you. Oh
yeah. Like, just a holiday would be nice.
Yeah. All right, man. No problem.
So the last thing for the animal farm I want to talk about is the garden, right? The drip garden. So personally, my journey on the garden is I'm trying to compound my way now up to 100,000 plants. Is my plan, right? You hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I get some comments sometimes in videos when I talk about it. They say, no, there's no point doing that. The garden doesn't work. Everything's going to zero. Like, there's some people who still don't understand the way that it works. They seem to put it directly the same as any other mining contract, where it's different. It is extremely different to your general contract that you will see the B&B farmer or the baked beans or whatever. And that's why I began compounding it, especially because my opinion is that by the time that Animal Farm is fully running, once pigs is done out tomorrow and then dogs in a few weeks, the amount of people who are going to come into the farm for the first time or returning to the farm are going to see the garden once again. And of course, it's going to see, I think, more investment coming in, which is why I think it's key to keep growing it. But for any of the people out there who still don't understand, what would you have to say to them,
Yeah, so the garden has proven itself. It's I don't know how old now, like maybe 6 or 7 months old now. And unlike all of these other mining contracts out there, it's the only one that has been able to hit contract balance highs, done corrections, come back, done new contract balance highs, done corrections, and it's had multiple of these cycles. And it really has to do with the price of drip. And it acts as a higher risk way to trade and get exposure to drip. So we've marketed it. It's the only product that I would consider a high risk product out of all of the ones we've done. But it's significantly more sustainable and significantly lower risk than any other kind of mining protocol out there. So we had a strong demand to create a type of mining protocol for the community. We pushed it for them, and it's proven itself to not only did it get way more than 10x the balance that any other mining protocol has had. It currently still has a larger balance than any other mining protocol has in the space, like 6 or 7 months later. And we see that when drip is pumping, a lot of capital comes into drip garden, and when drip is doing a correction, people start claiming from the drip garden. So it really just acts as a form of leverage and a way to get exposure to drip and drip LPs. So we are going to be implementing the drip garden on the new UI. So we decided that we were going to build a new UI for this launch 6 days ago, and we got right to work. Thank you. Yeah, because no expense was spared. We've had a full team working on it. So now, it was kind of, for a long time, this was a one-man operation, and then it was a two-man operation, and now it's a little bit larger than that, because I have myself. I have a developer that we onboarded who's only doing quality control, and then we onboarded a developer who runs a team, essentially a team of developers, and we kind of put. I wouldn't say we put them in charge, but they really helped us get the UI done in time, and of course, the design. Anybody that looks at the design can tell that it's one of my projects, right? It has people know that I like to put art into my designs, and that's all original art. So and that original art was done by Drip Africa. So, or sorry, no, I think Reap Africa.
Yeah, they did the first white paper.
Yeah, he did the first white paper. He's done a lot of great work for us. All the documentation he does for us, he does a great job. And when he started delivering for us, he didn't he didn't ask for any payment for it or anything. He did it, and then Bartertown, when we needed an update, had a competition to whoever could do the best white paper would win a big drip airdrop, and he pulled through again and delivered. And now he's he's on the payroll. Whenever we need any kind of documentation done, anything like that, he's our go-to guy, and of course we pay him for it. So he does a great job, and he also provided most of the art or basically all of the art for the new UI as well. So we've really onboarded some great people, and we're in a better place than ever as far as our development team to really get stuff done at a higher quality than we ever have. And that's why we put this UI together in 5 or 6 days, and it's better than our previous UI, which took a couple weeks for us to build previously. And it's really because we were doing everything as a 1 or 2 man operation before, and now we've grown. And these people that we've brought on, first of all, let me just make it clear that when it comes to the bottom line decision making, when it comes to who's adding the liquidity, who's locking the liquidity, when liquidity migration happens, when anything like that involves investor capital, that's all being handled by me and only me, and it's always been that way. But doing things like helping develop the UI, getting art done, getting documentation done, auditing our code, doing quality control, this is how we've grown as far as our team, and we've really we've built up a strong team now where even where we are now compared to where we were a month ago, we are so much stronger.
You're becoming a well-oiled machine.
We are
well-oiled, decentralized machine.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. The new UI actually looks similar to the drip one actually, but the animal farm is dark, and then the what I saw from the drip one is kind of bright. Like
Yeah.
I quite like the
So
contrast there.
yeah, so it's just cleaner. It's smoother. The
Yeah,
the
man.
new UI that we have for drip is really cool, right? So the new UI that we have for drip is specifically modeled after Charles Schwab's
Yeah.
investment bank website, and that's something that we put a lot of time into, and we're gonna play with it, right? We're gonna see. I believe that it's gonna bring a ton more interest into the project. It's gonna make people that visit the site be more inclined to use our products. They're gonna see the testimonials there. They're gonna see the articles about the site. That took a relatively long time to build, but I'm interested in building something like that for Animal Farm as well. In the future, we always want to improve, and there's always room to improve. But the site that we have, the UI that we have for the Animal Farm, is definitely way better than the previous one. And people will even notice we made an improvement since yesterday. So,
Yep, you've added the liberation contract. You've added
and the
there's a couple tabs
information.
added, yeah.
Yeah. So previously we had just plain text at the top of each page that kind of explained what the product was, but it didn't look good. It offset the dashboard, so it made that cover up the art, and you can only have so much information in your header, and I didn't feel like it explained each product correctly. So we used a essentially like a tour box where when you click onto the piggy bank tab, a little dialog box pops up. It tells you all the information about it, and then you can decide to click out. And so that's an awesome improvement that I'm really happy with. But we have something that does it even better that we'll be implementing in the next couple of days. So we're just going to continue to improve this and continue to optimize the front end. The contracts are going to stay immutable because we really, that's the way we like to do it. We like to keep things immutable with some flexibility that is designed to ensure for the security and to allow us to evolve, but no flexibility that could be used to remove liquidity or send funds, somewhere that the staker isn't giving approval for, and anything like that you see with other projects. When I talk about flexibility, what I'm referring to is, for example, in order to do this V2 migration, it needed to be a kind of big process because of the decentralized, immutable structure that we designed. We learned from this and we improved. So in the new MasterChef contracts, if say PancakeSwap was to do a V3 syrup pool, we could easily migrate. And of course, we don't have the ability to move capital, move anybody else's stake from one contract to another, but we have the flexibility there where we can switch out the V2 contract address with the V3 contract address, and then still everybody has to give approval to move their funds there, but it makes it flexible so we never have to pause or do anything that's very intensive in the future in case we have to do any kind of evolution as far as the other dApps we're integrated with. So it will be as simple as people just hitting a button to migrate from V2 to V3 and giving approval for it, confirming the transaction, and simple as that now.
So really the last thing I want to chat about today is to do with drip, but not to do with the because I believe that after the Animal Farm is finally everything's on pause and we're running, then that is the time for full 100% focus on drip and getting the UI out and getting the bullish new news and everything. But I wanted to have a talk with you about the reservoir, because I've seen as a YouTuber, I see a lot of got Twitter and stuff, see more and more tweeting, talking. I mean, I saw Barter Time made a competition, or his own I guess journey, where he's wanting to put 1 BNB into the reservoir every day of the week, every day of the month for this month. That's his that's what he's doing. I did a competition for Drip's birthday the first year, when it was everyone who can prove they've staked in the reservoir, I was going to airdrop them down to them, and I see a lot more people talking about it. So I had a question that was sent in from Beach Junkie, and he said, the reservoir seems to be the least understood part of the entire ecosystem. Some people say that it creates a price floor for drip. Is this correct? If so, can you please explain some of the mechanics of the reservoir?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. In the past few weeks, people have really driven their attention to the reservoir, and this is because people are starting to realize it's a very low risk way that they can earn B&B, and that's something that you can't really find anywhere else in the space. And the reservoir is our liquidity provider contract, or our liquidity pool for our native DEX. So people that are aware of drip know that you could trade drip on our site, on drip.community, on our own native DEX. Now, just like any other DEX, you have liquidity providers. They are who is creating liquidity on both sides of the pool to allow for trading. They earn a liquidity provider fee. Now, with every other DEX out there, they're basically all copies of Uniswap, so they all have a 0.3% fee that goes to liquidity providers, and that's it. And what determines the share of your fee that you make is just the share of the liquidity pool that you make up. Now, with the reservoir, with our native DEX, not only do we pay out the largest liquidity provider fee than any other DEX, 1% instead of 0.3%. The way that what determines your share of the yield that you're generating from being a liquidity provider is not only the size of the pool that you make up, but also how long you've been in the pool. And this is time-weighted liquidity provider rewards, and that's an innovation in the space that no one has done. We were the first, and no one's done it since. And there's a lot of things we do in Drip that no one has even been able to replicate. And some people have tried and failed, and some people have not even tried. They've created like lower end models, essentially maybe just the Faucet contract or whatever the case may be. But with the reservoir, the way that it works is you deposit B&B. There's a 10% tax on this B&B. 2% is permanently locked in the liquidity pool forever. 3% becomes immediately available to everybody that got in before you, so that B&B is made immediately available for them as a reward. And the rest is locked up in a vault that pays out 2% of its balance daily to those in the reservoir. Now, every time someone swaps on the native DEX, there's a 1% fee associated with it, and this goes to the vault, the reservoir vault as well, that pays out 2% of its balance. And what this means is not only is the size of the pool that you make up, does the size of the pool that you make up determine the rewards that you're earning in there, but also how long you're a liquidity provider. So those who are in it for the long haul earn better than anybody in the system. Now, the reason why we're able to allow for B&B deposits and B&B withdrawals for a liquidity provider contract, which is something that, again, no one has done before us and no one has been able to replicate, is that when you deposit your B&B, it takes half that B&B and buys drip, pairs that drip into our LP token, which we call drops, and those drops sit on the contract for you, and they represent your share of the reservoir. Now, when you go to cash out from the reservoir or take profit, it then takes those drops, unpairs it for you, and pays you out the B&B. And because it's taking both 2% of all the B&B that enters the reservoir contract and permanently locking it in the liquidity pool, and it's taking 2% of the 1% liquidity provider fee and permanently locking it in the liquidity pool, and because the reservoir vault is paying out 2% of its balance daily, meaning it can never pay out its full balance, that means that there's always going to be some capital that is permanently locked in the drip liquidity pool, and the larger this locked amount of BNB that is in the liquidity pool, the higher the price floor is for drip. Meaning, it's a price that that drip really can't go under. And every time someone swaps drip, this price floor goes up. And every time someone enters the reservoir, this price floor goes up. And with drip, you know, if you look at the the shorter term fractals and stuff, it's going up, it's going down, it's doing all kinds of things. But if you zoom out since launch, you'll see it's making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And right now, it's rounding out one of those higher lows, and we're about to hit the next leg, which I believe will take us to higher highs like we've never seen before. And one of the main reasons for this is because the main sustainability function in the drip faucet is you can only earn 365% of your balance. What this means is anybody who deposits and then just drains the system will be capped out at 365. And since you're making 1% a day, this means that after a year, people who are only draining the system get capped out. They're no longer able to drain the system. And drip just hit its 1 year anniversary a couple weeks ago. And when it did that, the largest staker in the faucet contract hit his max payout, and now he's no longer able to drain the system. And every day, more early whales who got in on day one or got in the pre-sale and have been just draining the system are hitting their max payout. And drip has stabilized. You know, we see drip is stabilized and growing now, and this is largely due to that. And now in the next month, we'll have Animal Farm fully launched, and then I can put my full focus into promoting drip and Animal Farm and coming out with the next development layer for drip. On top of this,
I think also the being able to farm with the drip liquidity tokens for pigs it's always amazing added utility to drip. You know, like I can't wait
so there's
to reopen. It was the best. For me, it was the best way to get pigs. Like dogs was great, but like to use drip as a utility to yield farm is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, so there's a few very big things that are coming from drip, right? We have the V2 migration of Animal Farm, which gives a major utility for drip that allows to earn yield. We have the UI, which is already built, and we're just, I just don't want to take energy away from either one by launching the new UI for drip and Animal Farm at the same time. So as soon as we put our focus back on drip, which would be immediately after the Animal Farm migration, the new UI is getting pushed. We'll already have the drip yield farm on Animal Farm, that farm going. We have a major DEX partnership coming for drip that is going to be providing a new utility for drip that that incentivizes people to lock drip on their platform and earn yield. And again, this is something that they're only providing for what they consider the top 5 projects on BSC, and we're one of them. They're major DEX, and they're going to be promoting the hell out of their new product, which means a ton of promotion for us. So that's going to be huge, and they're going to basically go public with it in the next few days and go live with it in the next few weeks. So that's right around the corner, right? That's the end of this month, early next month. And then we have the scratch ticket model, which is also going to be massive. And that is, I would say that is going to come at either the end of next month or early the following month. So essentially, every week coming up for the next 3 months, we have something major happening for both Animal Farm and drip. The scratch ticket model is huge, right? It's a model that allows people to essentially buy scratch tickets on various platforms. So we're going to give the proof of concept by launching it on Animal Farm and drip. 20% of all the BNB used to buy those tickets gets used to buy drip, send it to the tax vault, buy dogs and pigs, send them to the burn address. I think the pigs will likely get sent to the pig pen, which is huge, right? That's going to be, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, every day worth of pigs getting sent to the pig pen. And this isn't pigs that are being inflated or added to the supply to pay out. It's being bought. So this is pigs that are being bought from the market and then used as rewards in a system that's locking them up. So, I mean, this is going to be huge for both Animal Farm and Drip. And it's a NFT scratch ticket model. So not only do you get a chance to win a prize, and the way that you interact with the NFT is also very cool, right? It's a dashboard that's a digital scratch ticket that you use your mouse to scratch to see your reward. When you start scratching it, it calls a function to Chainlink that returns a random value. We then use a type of a modal equation which takes whatever this random number is and then puts it within a range, and then wherever this number lands within the range determines your prize and whether you won the prize or not. And then once that prize has been won, it's taken off the table. So we know when we start, and when we have each batch, we know before the batch is sold how many prizes there will be. It'll be one jackpot. There'll be so many tier 2 prizes, so many tier 3 prizes. And this is why the scratching model is such a good model. It's because they're able to treat it like a business where they know exactly how much they'll pay in prizes each batch, exactly how much they can reinvest in the business, exactly how much they can take as profit as the owners. And I would say probably the greatest thing about this whole thing is if you do not win a prize with your ticket, with your NFT, you can then stake the NFT on the Scratchy platform, and 15% of all the BNB used to buy the tickets on each batch get sent to the NFT staking protocol on Scratchy and is used to pay out a BNB dividend to the through the revenue sharing model to the stakers of the NFT. So this is again how I'm taking funds that would otherwise be going to the developers and we're giving them to the community.
Yeah. So I buy the scratch ticket, I scratch it off with scratch off the NFT with my mouse. Then if I win or if I lose, I can still take that NFT, I can stake it into this scratchy website you said, and then
you stake it. Yep. And then depending on where the ticket is bought, what platform it's bought on, either on the Drip platform or on the Animal Farm platform.
Yeah.
20% of the BNB will go to whatever token is associated with that platform, and the theming is completely different. And this isn't something that we'll just be having for our tokens. We're going to use this as a white label service and offer it to a bunch of other platforms, and it'll be themed for their specific platform. And this is a ton of BNB that'll be generated because there's a ton of projects that are already contacting us wanting to implement this, and all this BNB is going to be used to buy back our native tokens and be used to pay out through the revenue sharing in BNB. So it's another thing that's very big about that is although we will be offering it on multiple platforms, each platform has a different size lottery or a different size jackpot. And the reason for this is because 10% of all the BNB that is used to buy the tickets goes into a treasury, and then 25% of that treasury goes to the jackpot with each batch. And that means every batch that's sold increases the treasury balance, which increases the jackpot for that specific platform. So I already know that, without a doubt, Drip will have the largest jackpot. So even though we'll be offering this service to other platforms, Drip undoubtedly will have the largest jackpot, will be the most attractive. And regardless of where people are buying the tickets, the revenue sharing is still being done on the Scratchy site. So that's it's going to be huge, right? We already know the scratch ticket model works awesome, but we're able to take it to the next level by implementing, the power of DeFi, essentially.
And luck. It's fun.
Yeah, and then it's way better than any other kind of lottery model that exists in crypto now. Right now, you get into a lottery thing, you buy a ticket, you got to wait 48 hours, 24 hours, a week before you figure out if you won. There's only one winner. The devs are taking a huge cut. If you don't win, you're out of luck. That's it. You didn't win anything. With ours, you can buy a ticket, you can scratch it, see if you're a winner. The bottom prize is you win another ticket. So you scratch, you don't win a prize. You can stake it for a share of the protocol. You do win a prize. You need to burn that ticket in order to claim your prize, which means there's no double dipping. Those who win the jackpot with their ticket cannot then use that ticket as a share in the protocol. So it's going to be big, right? And then with Drip, right? So I talked about what's coming for Drip in the next, I would say, 4 months. I would say by end of year, I want to do something that I believe is going to be the biggest thing in DeFi, truly. And that's a true peer-to-peer lending protocol. So right now, if you want to lend out your crypto, you're lending it to either a major DEX. You're lending it to one entity, essentially. It's either a DEX or some centralized exchange, essentially. This model is going to be a peer-to-peer lending model, where people that are in the Drip network and in the Drip community can lend capital to other Drippers, and for lending out this capital, they will earn a yield, and this is a secured loan, and it's secured by the collateral in the Drip stake of the person who's accepting the loan, and they can. The loan is secured because they know that the loan size can't be larger than what can be paid back from the ROI that person that has the collateral staked in the protocol is earning. And the person who is getting the loan can then use this capital that they would otherwise have to withdraw from the faucet to be able to access. Now they can keep their money in Drip. They can get into whatever they want to do, the trade, the pre-sale, whatever it is, make their flip, make some money, bring it right back into their Drip stake. And say something happens, they go and get into a pre-sale and get rugged, or shit happens in DeFi, right? Their loan will be self-paying from the ROI that they're earning in Drip. So even if they mess up somehow, their loan will still pay itself off, and then once their loan is paid off, then their collateral becomes open to them, and now they have access to their stake, and they're earning ROI on their stake again. When before they've paid off their loan, their ROI is going to the lender, and with interest, and the faster the loan is paid off, the less interest is associated with that loan. So, I mean, it's going to revolutionize DeFi. It's going to be the biggest thing in DeFi. I know it. I have already worked out the logic on how to do it. The reason why I say end of year is because I have to build the contracts for it. So I've worked out the logic. I still have to build the contracts. It's going to be built on top of the faucet, and it's just going to be massive. And I want to take my time with it. So end of year is my target for that. But we got so much coming in the next 4 or 5 months, anyways, that people can focus on. And Drip is just in a better place than ever. The team is in a better place than ever. So, I'm super, super excited. But right now, it's all about pigs. It's all about animal farms. So, tomorrow at noon, I'll be in voice chat preparing everybody at 1 p.m. EST when the timer hits 0. I'm going to be unpausing. Everything will go live. Remember, there's less than 3% of pigs in circulation. Those pigs that are in circulation are heavily incentivized to put their capital in Piggy Bank or Pigpen. They're going to get a 20% bonus if they get in Piggy Bank. If they get in Pigpen, they're getting a jump start on building up their share of the animal farm before it goes live. Plus, they're getting all those pigs that are generated from the Piggy Bank fees, and they're getting the BUSD the millions of dollars worth of BSD, which is already sitting in the vault. Now, when Animal Farm goes live, or the V2 goes live in 2 weeks, because we're going to have 1 week for the migration process, and then we'll go live the next week, there's going to be a huge wave of TVL that comes in, which is going to be hundreds, maybe billions of dollars, which is going to 4 to 6% of that will be used for PIGGY injections, right? So that's tens of millions of dollars, and not only will we be creating this this capital from deposit fees, also the collateral rehypothecation, which will not just be for LPs, it will also be for single assets, which is going to essentially double the amount of yield that we're earning through that, which doubles the amount of capital BUSD we can pay out through the PIGGY. So, I mean, the piggy bank is obvious, right? I think the reason why I'm putting a little more focus on the PIGGY because the PIGGY is a little bit more of the longer term play, which people I think need to have a little bit more of an understanding of how the system works to see how that benefits them. But there's so much more cash flow going to it when we go live than there was in V1, and the logic is so much better. And then piggy bank is we made major improvements to it. It's a whole new beast, right? And piggy bank is already the obvious, awesome, like mid to long term play. So I just see the pig token exploding when we go live tomorrow, and everybody just celebrating, being very, very happy and excited, and the piggy bank is right now. So I saw some people asking, how much do you need to deposit? How much do you need to compound to buy a whole piglet? You don't need to worry about that anymore. Even the smallest user can benefit from the piggy bank now, and this is because we've made another major innovation that is not that you can't find in any other contract that has two assets, and that's the ability to buy fractional tokens. So Solidity cannot do decimals. So the way that you handle that from a development perspective and a code perspective is by padding, essentially multiplying the decimal value by a large number, so it's no longer a decimal, and then on the other side of the function, removing whatever multiplier you added to it to now make it back into a decimal, and then credit people with a fraction of a token. When you have
the smallest deposit can get in,
Yeah, when you have two assets on the same contract, it becomes much harder to do, because if you try to if you use a constant padding, what happens is when you go to unpad on the other side, you're still going to have a value under 1 in some cases, and Solidity will round that to 0 and not be credited. And this is why all these other protocols that have multiple assets, an ROI asset and an asset that get paid in, have a threshold that you need to be larger than to be able to do any compounding or deposit. And we have removed that threshold and made it so it's the bonus and all of the use cases of the system are accessible to everybody, no matter what your size is. And essentially all that matters is the actions you take in it.
Man, so much.
Yeah, I know.
It's great.
I know it's a lot. That's one of the reasons why we're kind of parsing it out, right? We're doing pigs, piggy bank, and pig pet tomorrow. We'll do dogs migration next week. We'll do dogs launch the following week. Yeah, it's a lot,
great,
but
it's just we're all on this journey, man. It's the biggest army in DeFi, that we have now. The biggest decentralized army, best community by far, man.
We're on the cutting edge. Like, we are on the bleeding edge of DeFi, and I feel like we are where you go if you want to safely and securely be on the cutting edge of DeFi, right?
Yeah.
This is where you go. You can't. There's no one else doing it like we are. If you want to be on the cutting edge, but also feel secure that your capital will be protected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I really, well, from what you were saying before there, I really like the idea of being able to take my drip out of the faucet, like claim my drip, right, and then be able to put it in somewhere else and stake it, and then get something else rewarded. Because personally, I don't really like selling drip. I feel bad. I like to use drip. That's the whole idea of it.
Of course.
So to use it as another utility and another site to put it into is so amazing. Right?
Just so you know, the lending protocol. I can't give away too much, but it's actually, let me not even get into it. But people will, with the lending protocol, people will not be removing drip from the system at all, right? There will be no drip being removed from the system. People will have, so anyways, I don't want to get into it because I don't want to give away my ideas before it's developed.
Yeah, exactly. All I'm imagining is a stunner breezy loan service using drip lending.
That's going to happen, right? The whales in the system are going to essentially be banks. They're going to have their own banks where they're going to be able to make loans to people and are interested, and that's going to benefit everybody. So it's awesome.
It's going to start this net of just a web of continuing growing and growing up, man.
For tax reasons too, it's huge because you don't pay taxes on a loan. You only pay taxes, well, at least in the U.S., you only pay taxes on realized capital gains. So this is why the super rich, the super wealthy, they never realize their capital gains. They use those assets as collateral to take out loans against it, and then they spend the loan, and that they use the debt, and they use that lending money, and they keep those assets, earning yield for them and as collateral, and they never end up paying taxes on anything. And I never give anybody tax advice, but having a lending system allows for that. Given the current structure, it allows you to take out a loan against your collateral, cash it out essentially, and since it's a loan, you don't owe taxes on it, and you can have your drip still earning yield in there. But these are things that people are going to, as we get closer, will work out for themselves. And I'm going to stay far away from giving anybody tax advice or anything, but it opens up so much opportunity.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be huge for whales. Whales are going to love it, which whales are great.
So the timer's already up for the movement, for the relaunching of the pigs.
Yeah, we're 11 hours away.
Man, fantastic. This is exciting. Yep. So I don't want to keep you too long then, because I'm sure you need your beauty sleep and.
Yeah, so I stayed up. I was up all day yesterday. I stayed up all night working on the UI. I slept for something like 2 hours before the Juba interview. I did that. I came out. I spent some time, answering questions of the community. I took another 3-hour nap. Came on and did this, and I got I got more work to do. But now it's crunch time, right? The time to sleep is in a few days, so it doesn't bother me at all.
Well, FOREX, I hope that once the Pigs is done, I'm going to figure out how to live stream, and I'm going to get you on my channel. I promise.
Oh, we'll do it, man. Yeah. I mean, it can't be too hard, but I don't live stream, so, I had no advice for you, but you'll figure it out, man. And we'll get going, in the next few days. So, you said that you're going to transcribe this and do subtitles. You could do that?
Yep. I can do it. I've recorded everything as well, so.
That's awesome.
I'll be able to put this up afterwards, and also I'm going to turn it into Chinese so that the Chinese community can they can find out the key information, because especially in a second language, I'm sure Drip Italy knows this, or Drip Japan, that in a second language, it's very hard to get everything, to understand everything. So the more sources we do have in different languages that can clearly explain to everyone what's going on, it's the best way for everyone,
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off, but if you have questions, go to the latest Twitter tweet that I made. Put your questions there. When I come on tomorrow at noon, I'm going to go through it, and I'll look at any questions, and I'll answer any questions. I've been on for 2.5, 3 hours or something now, and, I can't stay on all night because I got to prepare for tomorrow and everything. But put your questions there, and I'll get to them. Or ask in the chat, because I'm sure, not to assume, but almost every question I see, we've already addressed, and someone else will be able to answer it for you if you just put it in the chat. So feel free, post it in the chat. Someone will get to you, an admin. Someone will get to you. So, all right, guys. Thank you, Crypto Mischief. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for everything you've done for Drip and all of us. You've been with us for years now, and we appreciate it, man.
We'll keep going. Thanks for your patience, everybody.
No problem, man.
Okay.
Everybody does their best. So, all right, man. Good night.
Good night.